I haven't gassed it, I just didn't get it.
No, you gassed it.
We interrupt our advertised programming to join...
Cricketers are about to explain their involvement in a scandal that has rocked the sport, providing information to an Indian bookmaker during...
98 hit him pretty hard.
Just one after another seem to keep coming out. What people call the bookie scandal.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
With each revelation, the ICC...
The Australian Cricket Board.
The betting thing was something innocent, which I got cleared of.
Why would they risk their livelihoods and their cricket careers? They were representing their...
As far as he's concerned, it's fine. It's just that as far as everybody else is concerned, it isn't.
I never stopped, ever, in anything I've done in my life. At the time, I went with it. Pretty tough time in my life. I was coming off shoulder operations where I never thought I was going to play again. And it got to the stage where we had to win, I think, 7 games in a row. Stop protecting your shoulder. Let's go. It's now or never. And I came in and it was the first time in a while I'd actually given a real rip like I used to. A beautiful ball, as good as any ball I ever bowled.
I still remember that.
And we end up tying the semi-final. It goes down in one of the greatest games of all time.
When South Africa were ghosty, they were the ones suddenly made Australia believe they could win it.
Yeah. So, see, you get the extra half.
He's never let anyone forget that half.
6 foot.
Easy.
He's 6'1.5". That's why I'm 6 foot.
No, easy.
I probably got to thank him a fair bit for it, for enhance my competitive spirit.
I know, it can't be easy being the older brother who keeps getting beaten by the younger brother.
So you can't beat me at golf, can't beat me at...
Who was the last who upended the board because of
him? I mean, there's only really been one tough time, hasn't there? Ever. All I said was, I got it off my mum.
Ah, yes. Yeah, listen to this story.
I got the call
I'm trying
from
to stay
Shane,
quiet
and
so
he's
you
like, "Oh, I'm in
hear
trouble."
everything.
Was shattered because it was such an innocent mistake.
Shane Warne is on his way home after failing a drugs test. That diuretics would be used as a masking agent in order to try and...
Bridget gave him a diuretic, and he's a bit flabby around here.
Shane Warne has been banned from playing cricket for a year.
Getting rubbed out for 12 months was...
Sanity and stupidity are a lot different to drug cheat.
Anyone that knows me, I've never touched them. No. Never touched... I never blame mum, ever. I was taken off the ban list a few years later because I didn't do anything.
And that's what's so annoying about that too. That's what's so annoying about that, what he just said. It was taken off a year and a half later from the ban list in international cricket. That's what's so frustrating about that too. Because it just literally, it puts such a brown shitty stain on his name.
I know his personality, that must have been real hard.
So when that 12 months came, it was like, whoa, like this is a real setback.
Show me how.
He wasn't being allowed to do what he did better than anyone else.
And it's like I couldn't stop the bad stuff. Then there's intrusion, then there's photographers that follow you around the street. You go, what are you doing, mate? I'm just a cricketer.
When's Shane Warne going to make Australia proud? And I said, madam, he's already done that many, many times.
Say, right, I'm going to come back and I'm going to come back even stronger.
Because that 12 months he had off, he reinvented himself.
He took it on the chin, more hungry than ever before.
Welcome back. Journalists have travelled from the other side of the world. Well, this afternoon, Melbourne's rain cleared long enough to allow our greatest leg spinner.
He looked leaner, he looked fitter, and he was ready to go again.
Just sort of got the cobwebs out and bowled a few good ones and a few bad ones.
Came back fitter than ever, determined to prove to the world he was great, and he did.
And be a match winner as well. It's almost like he used that as the energy to focus into his skill.
You forget about everything.
It made me wonder, like, him having that 12 months break, it honestly, it makes you wonder if he either could have had more wickets, could have done more, or it actually extended his career, longer than it should have. I've always wondered that.
Because you're doing something you love and you forget about it.
Australia has won the last 8 Ashes series.
Excitement around this group of men throwing a ball at each other.
It was always very, very competitive.
Big mistake, especially after a tune-up from the spin doctor.
By the time he finished, he was almost vintage Warne. It was pretty exciting.
We were going to set up a life in England. see you later, had the goodbyes, had the farewells, kids, you know.
Unfortunately, there was a story that broke with me with 2 women. You know, Simone read that story.
It was a succession of Shane's with this one, Shane's with that one, Shane's with this one, Shane's with that one. And my life was pretty much turned on its head.
Shane Warne is a bachelor again. After splitting with his wife, is now expected to return to Australia with their 3 children.
It wasn't even a 2-week turnaround before I came back to Australia.
I'm not trying to make excuses. I take full responsibility and I have apologised to my wife.
That was the first time I'd seen Dad in a bad light. Image of him had been, like, broken.
I knew this story was going to be definitely coming up.
I didn't get to see my children and they couldn't get to see me, and it was my fault. To try and live with that at that time and then to go out and play for your country in an Ashes series was...
Shane Warne has joined his teammates for the Ashes series against England.
As far as it being a distraction when the tests come around, hopefully it's not.
One of the greatest players that's ever played in the Ashes series.
I remember being there, actually. There was a lot of optimism around England, very attacking, very strong and in the face of the Aussies.
Throw a few punches and see where we get to.
But then you knew...
Probably when I realised that Shane Warne and actually Glenn McGrath together were the 1-2 punch.
He virtually locked himself in his room.
I would play cricket, I'd go back to the hotel room, sit in my room by myself and just drink.
I can't. If anyone knows how he passed away, just go look it up.
In my hotel room, crying on the floor, you know, just berating myself for some of the things I did.
Where's your missus gone? Far, far away. It went on for hours. Where's your missus gone? I was embarrassed for him. That's where it had got to.
He knew what his job and his responsibility was as a cricketer. When he crossed the line, he'd leave it off the field. And then when he got off the field, then he would deal with what he had to deal with.
He was there for us.
Talk to the kids, I miss you, Daddy. Wow, I wish I was with you. Love you, Dad. Good luck at the cricket. I messaged Michael Clark, hey, mate, are you still awake?
To listen and show support any way I possibly could.
600 Test match wickets for Shane Warne.
And I gave him the one that said strength. Kissing it and putting it up like this, I was like, unbelievable. Gave him that extra little bit of, come on, Dad, you've got to do this, you've got to do this kind of thing. It was awesome.
And by the end of the series, the Barmy Army realised this bloke's pretty special. He did everything but win it for Australia.
Without Warne, we would have whacked them properly.
Some of the things that I did off the field affect me. I'd been a straitjacket in a padded cell. The only way I got through everything was because I was tough upstairs and I could block things out. But that's how driven I was. That's what made me tick.
So this is not about a natural talent that he was born with in his DNA. This is about a tenacity to become the best in the world. Is just an incredible story.
Man, this is one of the toughest videos I've ever seen.
But he still had this massive milestone on the horizon, 700 Test wickets.
I think I was
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm all over the place emotionally right now. It's just... This is so weird watching this, man.
When you're playing, you don't really think of the records.
Boxing Day Test, 90,000 spectators in. His home ground. The stage was set.
Sport. Nothing else.
Now let's throw in that you're on 699 wickets. There's 90,000 in the house, screaming and yelling and banging on it. They're just loud.
Crowd going berserk.
And then, whoa! And then the banging would start again. There's a hush because one ball could be the 700th wicket.
Oh, give him out.
Give him out. They were getting ready to pop. Pop they did.
hits the top of middle stump, and the roar. Could not believe, you couldn't hear yourselves. The boys were saying great stuff, and they were sort of like, no, my kids are out of there. Just the pure joy.
People delighted, but it's also Andrew Strauss. Blake was playing well.
Where he got his 700th Test wicket, and I happened to be the victim.
That must suck for him.
The MCG, 90,000 people there on Boxing Day. It was just mind-blowing, the sound. And I'm never going to live it down.
I sent Andrew Strauss a Christmas card every year saying, thanks, Straussy.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Well done, terrific career.
But to do it in the Test arena is remarkable.
A lot of people said, you'll know when your time's up in front of you today, and I know exactly what they mean. My time is now. My children were 10, 8 and 6. I wanted to be with them more. I'd missed so much of their life. I just wanted to be more involved rather than part-time. I wanted to be full-time. I wanted to be a full-time dad, and that was the major reason I retired.
It's like, how are you one of the best cricketers in the world?
Meat pies, smoking, cheezels.
Oh my God, he snores for Australia. Iconic.
Yeah.
And I think the only time I've seen Warnie come close to tears is when there are questions raised about his children. Warnie didn't spend enough time with the family.
Went crazy after he retired. I felt like my job was saying no 95% of the time.
I'm commentating for Nine. I'm doing the Boxing Day in Sydney Test match.
There is a love for Shane Warne. People are excited to see him, and he handles that really well.
Biggest thing you've ever seen, then double it. You want to say King Kong.
To do the work for charity that he's done.
It was about saving the lives of kids and the families around Australia. It'd be auctioned off at some charity night for a couple of $100,000.
What an amazing person.
Shane Warne auctioning his prized baggy green to raise money for those impacted by the ongoing disaster.
Yeah, the green baggy cap, I love everything. It sat next to me in every single game I played.
Got $1 million for that in the auction.
I mean, I've seen Shane Warne, quite often he'll chat to the guy and he'll be there for ages. I knew he was in the stands sculling beers and dancing around, and I thought, that guy's cool.
I'll do them at the end of the game. And literally, we were all sitting on the bus. Geez, we waited a long time.
Honestly, guys, my emotions are just... I feel
in 2007,
so
when I retired, it wasn't as though I wasn't performing, but smarter. The IPL then came along 18 months later or something. He rings me and said, how would you like to run a cricket team the way you've always wanted to run it? It was 6 weeks of intense cricket. Now I'm interested.
But he wasn't a huge name captain. If we go with Shane Warne, it's his way or the highway, to give him a level of control.
He's got quite a busy mind. It had to be something quite fresh and exciting.
I was captain, I was coach. That was exciting.
Oh, cricket is massive in India. What football for Brazilians is.
Yeah, no, that's a fair
exactly like
statement.
that.
That's a fair statement.
But much more.
Yeah.
You know, try and describe to people the IPL, let me try, for $10 billion for a 6-week tournament. Cricket is the second biggest sport in the world. It's the second biggest in the world.
Everyone says in India, cricket's like a religion. For someone like Shane Warne to kind of give those incredible, passionate supporters what they want.
The enormity of IPL is just something.
That's what's so fascinating. When IPL first came out, when they first came out with the idea, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I thought it would fail after the first year, but it blew up and was so exciting. That first year, it was just so exhilarating. Oh my gosh. I remember staying up late just to watch the IPL, and it was so much fun. It was so much freaking fun to watch.
When we got off the team bus, 10,000 people, Shane Warne, India, was massive.
Was that we, the Rajasthan Royals, would finish last.
And everyone knew it. The press knew it.
They've got no players. They're hopeless. They're not going to win a game.
We had young kids that hadn't played first-class cricket that was 17, 18 years of age.
It was like the Pied Piper. These kids were in awe.
First game, we get absolutely hammered by Delhi. There's guys crying. So I stood there and said, boys, have I missed something? We've still got 13 more games. We're okay. Next game was at home, and we won. And I walked into the dressing room again, and they're yelling, screaming, and singing, and I said,
I had never witnessed anything like the magician of Shane Warne.
His leadership, his captaincy,
and to find a way to win at the end.
and the way that he moulded that team, inspirational. To become the inaugural champions of the IPL.
I can safely say that's the best moment of my entire life.
And did we party after that one?
To win against all the big name players, it made the IPL. I should be on a commission from the IPL for the rest of my life, actually.
I do have to
manage the team rather
I do
well.
have to admit that's what literally it made me fall in love with 2020. 2020 I was a bit skeptical, but IPL made me fall in love with 2020, and it's my favorite form. It's my favorite form. I still love Test match cricket so much. 50-50, I'm not really interested anymore, but 2020 and Test match, but 2020 is just, yeah.
Winning the first IPL, it's icing on the cake for him.
They'll talk about Shane Warne, an amazing leader.
It's a pity that he was never a long-term captain of Australia. He would have been an exciting captain, the sort of captain that people went along the ground, you know, something's going to happen. It's always going to be positive.
Tell everyone, mate, you're the best player. We need you tonight. You probably said that, but it just made you feel brilliant and made you pretty much
Wanted.
play above your station a lot of the time.
Yeah, punch above your weight. Yeah, make you feel wanted, and that's what captains are there for. That's what true captains are there for. They're there to inspire you.
I've got lots of faults.
There he is. There he is.
I've got lots of things I ain't good at, which annoys me. You've got to accept there's a price to pay.
He can do whatever he wants, but just because he's in the spotlight, it's a huge deal. The way I feel about Dad, I don't care how anyone else is going to view him. A scandal isn't going to change the way I see him.
I liked loud music, I was smoked, I drank. I don't have any regrets. You know, I'm pretty proud of my cricketing career. I always wanted the ball, and that's half the battle. Scores are level, 1 ball to go. Give me the ball. I'll do it. It's attitude.
This is hard, man. This is hard. This is someone who just shows you he had so many faults himself. Was not perfect. But he tried his hardest and he did the best he could. Was told time and time again he wasn't good enough. Until he told himself he was good enough. Not in an arrogant manner. Not in an arrogant manner. But in a way where he believed in himself. And that's going down as the greatest cricketer of all time. This is just such a weird thing to be watching, guys, right now, with him passing away just quite literally 46 hours ago. I know everyone does disappear from this walk of life at some moment, but when it's someone that you idolize and was a hero in your country, no matter what age it is, where they've left a legacy like him. It's sad. And it just makes you think that life is like that. Life can be taken from you in an instant. Life can be disappeared from everything. People can disappear from your life. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that documentary. I really, really did. I'm not going to give it a rating or anything. I wanted to watch that. What a positive spirit he was too. What an absolute positive spirit. And I think that's what led to him getting into trouble a lot. Him getting into bad situations because he trusted a lot of people. And he had that real personality where he was so authentic. And at times it come back to bite him on the ass. With Shane Warne, he doesn't just bring back his legacy when it comes to remembering him, but you remember your childhood. I remember the wheelie bins, wheeling out the wheelie bins, painting the wheelie bins, my parents getting angry because I painted wickets on my wheelie bins. And for hours upon hours, I was trying to spin the ball to try and hit the wickets on the wheelie bins, either in the driveway or in the garage. I remember taking wickets, whether it's against family members, and reenacting the way Shane Warne did when he took wickets, yelling out, Aussie, bending down on one knee and turning around to an umpire that wasn't there, only because you saw your idol Shane Warne do it. Whole reason why I loved cricket was because of that man. Whole reason why I fell in love with cricket was because of Shane Warne. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you did. And I'll speak to you soon. R.I.P. Shane. R.I.P.